Hey everyone, welcome back to another lesson of learning Japanese. In this video, we're going to do another anime line of the day. And so the episode and the anime that we're going to cover is the 6th episode of Bungou Stray Dogs. So what line exactly are we going to be covering today? Well, we're going to cover how to say you have a very relatable vision of an ideal woman, but you probably shouldn't share it with any actual women. So that's our line in this lesson, and we are obviously covering it because it is a need-to-know line that we're going to be needing to use with tons of conversational partners. So without further ado, let's just jump into this. So as always, context is very important in whatever you're saying, and the line that I just uttered to introduce this video is, or was actually kind of paraphrased in the actual episode. It's going to have a different kind of direct translation. So now let's just look at the Japanese that was actually spoken in the episode.
何か問題あるか？
いいえ、非常に共感できる理想の女性像だとは思いますが、
女性には見せない方がいいだろうね。
So there you have it. Iie Hijou ni kyoukan dekiru risou no joseizou da to omoimasuga ga, josei ni wa misenai hoga ii darou ne. And what our translation of this line is going to come out as is something along the lines of, no, it's a very relatable vision of an ideal woman, but you probably shouldn't share it with any actual women, right? So now what we'll do, of course, is break down the Japanese sentence to get an idea of what's going on here grammatically, the vocab, and how we can kind of naturalize it into that, even though the direct translation is a bit different. So first up, we just have the word ie, which is kind of a just one word response. It just means no, basically. And since this is kind of just a response to the line that was said before this one, which we aren't showing in this video, you can just kind of omit that and not worry about that at all, even though it's a really simple word. Next up, we have our first vocabulary term that we've listed, and it's going to beひじょうに, and this is just going to translate to very or extremely or exceedingly. This is going to be used as an adverb, and it's going to be basically modifying the verb that's about to come, which is kyoukan dekiru. So this is going to be a verbal noun, kyoukan suru, and kyoukan means basically sympathy or empathy or response. So kyoukan suru is going to mean to basically sympathize or empathize, and here we're changing the suru into dekiru because we want to use the potential form. So to be able to do, so doing what? Well, to be able to sympathize or to empathize with. So far we have hijou ni kyoukan dekiru, that's going to translate to be able to sympathize with very much or extremely. And so what we have so far is that phrase, and again, it's going to be modifying what comes next. So next up we have a noun of a noun modification. So we're going to see two nouns here. The first one is risou, and this is going to translate to ideal basically. And the second noun is going to be joseizou. This is going to be female image. We should probably know the word josei, which means girl. We have the zou added onto that to make this kind of compound word. Zou is going to mean basically image or figure or picture. So together, joseizou is going to be female image. And in turn, we now interpret risou no joseizou. This is going to be basically the ideal female image. Go back to the phrasing that was modifying that, hijou ni kyoukan dekiru, and that's going to be a female image that can be sympathized with very much so or extremely. Now we continue on, and so we simply have datowa, and this is going to be the kind of just presence of these particles to express that there is the verb omo, which means to think. So the da is basically just the copula to end the statement. It's the plain form of des, and we're using the plain form because this is going to be in kind of a quotation, which is marked by the particle right after it, to. So when we say da to wa omoimasu, this is going to be I think blank blank blank, and the blank 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 is going to be everything that we just covered so far that is preceding the da, the to, and the wa omoimasu. So what's that going to be? It's basically just going to turn out to be I think that that's a ideal female image that can be sympathized with, basically. So we have the omo, it's conjugated into its mas form, it turns into omoimasu, and then it has the ga right after it to be the conjunction but. So I think blah 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 blah, but, and then there's like a dot 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 because he's kind of trying to find the words to say, but he gets cut off by the other character who finishes his sentence with the line
女性には見せない方がいいだろうね。
So now let's break down this second half. We again have the word josei appearing. That's just gonna mean girl or girls or women. We have the particle ni, which is gonna translate to basically two. It's gonna be acting as the particle to signify a indirect object, basically. So two women. But the ni here is kind of being used in a special form of it. It's going to be niwa instead. And so what this niwa here is kind of doing is saying that the entity that it's referring to, which in this case is Josei, girls or women, is kind of a special case. And it's kind of hard to explain further than that if we don't know what the whole sentence is saying, so let's just kind of cheat, and again, let's go over what this second part is saying. It's saying, but you probably shouldn't share it with any actual women. So looking at that whole second half of the sentence, you could kind of get how women are kind of a special case in that when he's saying you probably shouldn't share it with women, well, that's the special entity that this is referring to, but if you were to show it to some other entity or group of entities such as guys, it would be okay. So this statement that he's saying is kind of particular to women. So what or who he shouldn't show it to would be women particularly. Okay, so now let's rewind. We covered the Josei ni wa, and now our next word that shows up is just going to be miseru, which means to show basically. Here it's going to be in its nai form because we want it to be the negative nai form to mean not show. And right after misenai, we have the grammar pattern that is hoga ii, which we have covered in this channel before. So if you're curious or don't know what that is, consider watching that video. We'll put the link in the description or on this video thingamajigger. So what hoga ii is kind of going to translate to is basically should do this way of things, and the way of things that it's referring to in this context is the way of not showing, misenai ho. So the way of not showing is the good way basically. Then we have the darou right after that to mean basically probably. Then we have the kind of sentence ending particle ne to kind of rhetorically seek agreement, so we kind of just translate that to right. And with that, now we're now finished with the entire sentence, so now let's play it back.
何か問題あるか。
いいえ、非常に共感できる理想の女性像だとは思いますが。
女性には見せない方がいいだろうね。
So there you have it. Iie Hijou ni kyoukan dekiru risou no josei zou da to omoimasuga ga, Josei ni wa misenai hoga ii darou ne. And what that's going to translate to is just no. It's a very relatable vision of an ideal woman, but you probably shouldn't share it with any actual women, right? And so yeah, that wraps up our coverage of this one line from Bungou Stray Dogs episode 6, a kind of sentence that you could probably use in some cases that you come across, so hopefully that'll be helpful. And yeah, stay tuned for our next anime line of the day.